Well, I have someone on the line who might beg to differ, and his name is Willie Burton. Are you on the phone?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
All right, so I posted a question on Facebook, and you went with DeMarco Murray, and I wanted you to expound on that as to why you feel that even if the Cowboys had the ability to get AP, why would you stick with DeMarco Murray?
Well, first of all, let me say that I agree that Adrian Peterson is the best running back in the league right now. So, he might be a good fit, but for how long? When you look at his age, he's been in the league for a few years longer than he ever had. He may not have a miles left as far as his career. I think DeMarco Murray, despite his fumbling problems, has a better upside going forward than Adrian Peterson. You got to also look at value. Adrian Peterson probably command the greater salary than DeMarco Murray would. Teams, I've been hearing that teams don't put as much value on.
Okay. Let's do this right here. You kind of breaking up a little bit. Can we call you, I guess, right back, because we want to get a better sound from you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're gonna call you right back.
Okay.
Yeah. He was kind of breaking up a little bit, so I want to clearly hear him. Hear him.
See,
so I can clearly debate. I
know one thing I heard is that DeMarco Murray had a better upside than Adrian Peterson.
And we're gonna. I heard that too. The better upside, and we're gonna get into that because I'm looking at DeMarco. I'm looking at Adrian Peterson for a 3 to 4 year period. I'm not looking at Adrian Peterson for the next 30 years. And if you look at running backs consistently, I can name a Marcus Allen. I can name a Emmitt Smith. I can name running backs who, even as the years go on, they still remain better. If you look at John Riggins' best years were after he turned 30. If you look at Walter Payton's best years were after he turned 30. So I'm talking about running backs, regardless of people think that once you become 30, your days are numbered. And that's what media puts in your head. Media will say, just because you turn 30, your days are numbered. But that's not necessarily true. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, you sound much better. Go ahead and finish your spiel.
I'm not sure I left off there, but I think I was talking about how a lot of teams were saying, experts are saying that teams don't place as much value as they used to on running backs. Peterson is going to command a lot higher salary than Murray will. Agreed?
Yeah, he will. Absolutely.
And they're going to look at, especially with the things that they have to keep in tune as far as the salary cap is concerned. They're going to look at value. Yeah, he's a big name. Yes, he's the best running back in the league at the moment. He's a freak of nature. He came back from that knee injury probably 6 months faster than anybody anticipated, and almost broke a record and had an MVP season. Now, can he keep up that same pace after the age of 30? Historically, they say no. But he's a different beast. Having said that, I still would go with DeMarco Murray over him, just based on the age factor and the upside factor alone.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Right here. Let's take out the year, the 1,800 year. Let's take out this 1,800 yards year. Okay. Let's look at DeMarco Murray the 3 years prior to this. So, not a lot of productivity out of him because of his being injury prone. You get 1 year where you're not where you lasted the full year, Okay, let's take the same player, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson came back. You're right. He came back from Achilles and ran 2,000 yards. He was 9 yards away from the record. Right. You talk about upside. If you look historically, not what media tells you, but historically, if you look at running backs after the age 30, those running backs are still running. Look at Marcus Allen. Look at John Riggins. Look at Eric Dickerson. Look at Walter Payton. Look at Tony Dorsett. Look at Herschel Walker. Just because you turn 30 does not mean it's the downside of your career. The age is not anything. And Adrian Peterson had a full year to rest everything he had to rest, so he still has good run in him. He's got a good 5 or 6 years left in him. So you talking about upside. His upside right now, he has not shown where he's going down. His age should not be the hindrance of him going down. And I understand about the contract, and you talk about how the NFL is putting, or not the NFL, I'm saying media is putting less attention on running backs. And yes, you're right, the NFL is too, because they want more passing, they want more explosive offenses. But the Cowboys show that a running game will take you more places than you've ever been before. Not only the Cowboys shown it, but history has shown that. John Elway was not going to Super Bowl, was not winning a Super Bowl without a running game. Exactly. Look at Dan Marino, who is one of the best passers in the NFL. No running game, no Super Bowl. So exactly. While we say that, history tells us that you need a running game, and who is the best running back out there?
It's AP.
And if I had an opportunity to get the best running back out there, and I'm not killing my cap, because the Cowboys, they're not going to, AP is not going to kill their cap.
It depends on what he's asking for.
Let's say he's asking for 12 or 13 million. He ain't going to kill that cap. He's not.
I think he's getting 12 or 13 million now.
He is.
And he's probably going to have to take a pay cut to sign to whoever he's going to sign to. From what I understand, he has demanded a trade from Minnesota.
Yeah, he's going to have to take a pay cut. Absolutely. And yeah. He doesn't even mind. I don't think he minds taking a pay cut based off of where he's going to go. I don't think he's going to have a problem with that. If you're telling me for the next 4 years I can have an AP or I can have a DeMarco Murray, you're telling me you take DeMarco over AP for the next 4 years? Because that's all you got with the Cowboys, because Tony Romo ain't going to last that long.
That's true. Yeah, I would still take DeMarco Murray. You know, and I say that knowing that DeMarco Murray is a more physical running back than Adrian Peterson, and historically, you know, his physical running backs, you know, with that running style, you know, they don't really last well in their 30s. For the most part, there are some exceptions to that. But, you know, for the most part, they don't, you know, last well into their 30s. But if we can get 3 or 4 more good years out of DeMarco Murray, I think it'll be a better 3 or 4 years than we would get out of Adrian Peterson.
Okay, so
now you're right. Having that year off may have, you know, given him some fresh legs or whatever, but it also may have diminished his instinctiveness as well. So, you know, there's a lot of things to be considered. But my heart just goes with, and I love Adrian Peterson, don't get me wrong, but my heart just says stick with the guy that's been in battle with you. Stick with the guy that the guys that on your team already know and they have that relationship with. I don't know what Adrian Peterson's fumbling history is. I don't know what his receiving history is. Is he a better blocking running back than DeMarco Murray? You know, I don't know none of that. But all of those things have to be considered if you're thinking about making that switch. You know, the Cowboys made a huge mistake years ago in giving Marion Barber that huge contract, and then he barely did anything right after that.
Well, you know why though? Let me give you some history on that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the Cowboys back at the time when you talk about the Julius Jones, your Marion Barbers, your Felix Joneses, those running backs, they were trying to play a running back by committee. Julius Jones was supposed to be the number 1. Felix Jones and Marion Barber was going to be the number 2.
Tashard Choice.
Tashard Choice. The issue was this. is that was when the NFL started paying a lot less attention to running backs. So you can put a 2 and 3 running back set back there. Nobody was supposed to be the every down back. When you take Julius Jones out, put in Felix Jones, not Felix Jones, but Marion Barber, who was supposed to be the number 1 back, he was not built to be the number 1 back. That's why he didn't survive as long as he should have. Had he remained a second down, different change-up type of back. See, change-up backs are not every down backs. They're change-up backs for a reason. So you're talking about a time period when the Cowboys was looking at, I need a number 1 first down, second down back, and I need another change-up back. When we talking about DeMarco Murray started out in that, then he became the first down back, and now he's the first, second, and third down back. So DeMarco Murray has proved that he can be that every down back. Now, if we're talking about at Adrian Peterson, who is great out of the backfield, he's a great pass catcher. He's a good pass catcher out of the backfield, and he's a good blocker out of the backfield. The difference I want to talk about is let's look at the baggage that both brings to the table. Okay, so the baggage we know about, we already know DeMarco Murray's baggage that he brings to the table. He's injury prone. He has 1 good year. That's it. Every other year he's been hurt. That's number 1. Number 2 is he has a fumbling problem. He does put the ball down on the ground. And I always go back to Green Bay. That's a touchdown win in the NFC Championship game. Those are critical times. You don't fumble in critical times, and he did.
You talking about when Pepper stripped him?
Yes. Okay. And that wasn't even stripped. That was barely breathe on my arm. I fumbled the ball.
He kind of yanked his arm.
Yeah, that was a breathe on my ball. That was a breathe on my arm. I fumble. And DeMarco Murray, his speed is lacking. A lot of times you watch DeMarco Murray, if it was Adrian Peterson, he's taking it to the house. DeMarco Murray got to slow up and try to get around you, so the speed is not there. Now, you look at what baggage does Adrian Peterson bring to the table? All right, he beat his child. What other baggage do you see Adrian Peterson with?
He's also could be injury prone as well. He went through 2 broken collarbones, an ACL and a Achilles since he's been in the NFL.
Did he miss the game though?
He missed some time, but the following season from the injury he produced.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you say injury history, he got one as well.
Yeah, he's got one, but not as prolific or highlighted as DeMarco Murray's injuries.
Why wouldn't it? Okay.
Because
why is it not highlighted?
Because DeMarco Murray is missing like half the season, not just 1 or 2 games. We talking about seasons. We talking about he's only playing 8 games. Mm-hmm. The whole season. Mm-hmm. That's a bigger injury prone than 1 or 2 games.
And let alone he messed his hand up this year.
And he broke his hand. He sprained his wrist. Only thing I would say is this. If you look at the baggage that both bring to the table, okay, I think DeMarco Murray's baggage is a lot more in game time critical situation than Adrian Peterson. And Adrian Peterson was playing behind a so-so offensive line. We know we don't have no quarterback. Who's their quarterback now? We didn't put like 18
Teddy Bridgewater.
Right. Well, now
he played with Matt Castle. He
didn't play with Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, I'm sorry. You are right. Matt Castle and number 7.
See, we don't even know his name. No receiver. What receivers you got? You let Percy Harvin go. Who else you got over there? Mm-hmm. No tight end.
Coriel.
Okay, whatever. So guess what we're keying on? Mm-hmm. Adrian Peterson. We putting 8 men in the box on Adrian Peterson.
Is Peterson back at the age of 34, then DeMarco will be at the age of 30?
All I want is 4 years. I don't care what you give me a Super Bowl. I don't care what you do after 35, 34 years old. And I think he will be, because the history of running backs, if you're good, you're going to get better as you get older. Like I said, look at John Riggins. John Riggins started his career in Washington at 31, 32 years old. And that's all you knew. You didn't know he played for the Jets, did you?
No.
He became the Diesel when he went to Washington.
Right.
Look at Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen revived his career when he went to Kansas City.
Right. I remember that.
Look at Walter Payton. Mm-hmm. Walter Payton got beat up in Chicago and still rushed for over 1,500 yards. Mm-hmm. Look at Barry Sanders. I mean, these players got beat up and still rushed for you, regardless of your age. Your age does not say you're going to get worse. Now, if you're running back, no.